What's poppin', Funyuns? It's me, Keisha, aka Color Me Pynk, and I'm here with this week's All Tea, All Shade Real Housewives of Potomac Season 7, Episode 2 review. I drop videos Monday through Sunday. Everything that I say is for entertainment purposes only, not to be taken seriously. So if that works for you, then let's get into tonight's review. Before we start, I want to let you all know that this week I will be dropping all the exclusive juicy tea from this past weekend's BravoCon. There was so much that was said, so much that went down, so much gossip, trailers, reveals, fashion. I will be dropping all the exclusive tea this week, so be on the lookout for all of the videos. So the episode picks up exactly where we left off last week with Giselle confronting Mia about her cancer, no cancer post. And Mia was, defending herself. She told Giselle, F you, and Wendy and Candias come over and join the conversation. Meanwhile, Mia's bestie Jacqueline is sticking up for her, and Karen tells Giselle, you wrong for questioning this girl about her health scare. And Giselle was like, I'm not questioning her. And yes, you are. So, of course, Roberto had to jump in, child, with her Little Mermaid her, and was like, now y'all not going to sit up here and act like we the only ones that had something to say about this, which was very much true. But you just know she was not going to back up her boo thing. So Shady Production goes back and shows how all the ladies questioned, Mia's post. So as they're having this conversation, Wendy was like, excuse me, I'm not even trying to be rude, but who are you? To Jacqueline. She was like, I'm her best friend. And she was like, oh, okay, because I didn't know who was speaking, child. So Mia tells Karen that she is the chosen one. God has chosen her to go through this. She's still trying to figure out what's going on with her health-wise. Y'all know my story, with my own cancer situation. So everything about Mia and what she has said thus far just screams questionable to me. So Sharice, aka Box Chevy, arrives as Robyn's guest to Karen's event, and Karen looking like, bitch, I didn't tell you could invite her ass, but okay, girl. Karen still don't fuck with her from Sharice last season on the show when she was accusing Karen of cheating on Ray. Katie also arrives, and it was Candias's confessional when she was like, I ain't seen her since she disappeared from the Caymans. Now she here green eyes and bald headed. What is this? Not green eyed and bald headed. Katie looked, good for Katie. Thank God she wasn't wearing that wig or whatever. She's very frail though, very skinny. You could tell that she's still mentally going through some things. Giselle was like, Katie, go say hi to your boo Ray. He said that you were his crush. So she goes over and speaks to Ray and gives him a hug and pinches him on the booty. And of course, that just made Ray's not even day, month, or year. That made his lifetime, child. Him and them teeth was just the And Karen was like, okay, motherfucker, calm the hell down. Calm down, nigga. All right now. Candia's sister, who we have not seen in quite a while, is staying with her and Chris until her place is finished. And they sit in the kitchen and talk about Candias and Chris trying to have a baby, but they're barely spending any time together because of his work schedule, and she just wants to cuddle and just spend one-on-one time, but he's preoccupied. And this whole thing is the setup for when Giselle is gonna drop her little bombshell, I guess if that's what you want to call it. It was more like a pellet about her feeling like Chris tried to come on to her in some type of way, child. A mess. Karen got her titties done. This like Karen third time messing with them damn titties. Ashley's friend Deborah comes by to have a play date with their boys. Dean was not there because Dean was at school, like Ashley said, but she didn't want to brag and make the other mom feel bad that her oldest child is in fact in school, but not like daycare school. Dean is already at Harvard grad school. It's test week. He's going through a lot. So he was crying on drop off days. He really was, because, he's under a lot of stress. You know, Being in grad school, handling his mom's, divorce case, trying to stay civil with Michael, budgeting, the household bills and things. It's a lot. It's really a lot on him. He's still very young, and it's very tiring, very tiring, not only physically, mentally, but spiritually. So I'm going to be keeping Dean in my prayers, because little man has a lot going a lot on his shoulders. So God bless him. Batman and Robyn meet up for lunch, and Robyn immediately confronts her about telling Ashley and Karen her business about the fact that her name is the only one on she and Juan's home. And Giselle was like, I messed up. I'm so sorry. I thought that they knew. And she was like, why would you think that they would know something like that? Like, how would you feel if I was going around telling your business? And Giselle was like, yeah, please don't. She was like, yeah, I did mess up. I'm sorry. And what's her name? Robyn goes on to explain in her confessional that the reason why Juan's name isn't on their home is because the interest rate would have been too high, because he still has, credit issues and problems because of their last home that was in foreclosure. So it was just best to keep his name off of the home. But you can tell, she did not like that. She was embarrassed by the whole thing, and that Juan probably, was embarrassed by it. It just wasn't a good look. I don't think that was the first time she said something to Giselle about it. I think that she probably said something to her off camera, and then, decided that, yeah, we need to reiterate this on camera for my nigga, so, he could see that I did, in fact, check your ass to the public, because Giselle was out of pocket for even letting that type of information slip out of her mouth. So we're seeing a little bit of, pushback from Robyn. She's stepping into her masculinity, and I am here for it. So then they get to talking about the Mia situation, and Robyn once again steps up and put her dick on the table and tells Giselle that her delivery was 100% wrong, and she needs to reach out to Mia and let her know. So Giselle then sends me a text message, basically saying that, her delivery was wrong and she would love to sit down and talk to her. So I was like, wait a minute, Robyn, you are holding Giselle accountable? Okay, girl. You are stepping into your cut this season. I guess after 7 seasons, she said it is finally time for me to stop riding her dick and start fucking her back. Because I'm like, what? We have never seen Robyn hold Giselle accountable. What? She got a mind of her own finally? So then Robyn tells her how she and Ashley went wallpaper shopping and stuff, because Ashley put in an offer for a home for her and the kids, and they still questioning whether or not this divorce is really going to happen. And she tells Giselle that Ashley told her, all shocked and like, girl, I got something I need to tell you. Chris sent me a DM at 2:42 in the morning talking about you should have came to the W after the party, after the spring is sprung, spring is here, springboard party, whatever the fuck it was. So Robyn was like, he's the GM over there. And she didn't really see what was the big deal about it, because he literally was just responding to her IG story. I too don't see anything wrong with it. He was looking at your stories. He saw you was out. He said y'all should have came over here. A, because y'all would have kicked it. He trying to, get business over there. You know what I'm saying? He didn't know probably if the cameras was with y'all. I don't know. But he was trying to seem to me like draw business over to, his spot. Like y'all should have came over here and kicked it. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think that, they making more out of it than what it was. Especially you've been knowing this man for how many years. I just don't see the big whoop about it, So for once, I actually agree with Roberto. So of course Giselle sees a problem with it because Giselle sees a problem with everything except for her fashions. So Ashley in her confessional says, it's just something about it felt off to her. And I'm like, girl, that felt off to you, but all the shit your husband has done was excusable. Okay, forehead. So Giselle says, well, Chris slides in my DMs too, and it makes me uncomfortable, but I just be like, whatever. So Robyn was like, well, why do you feel that way? She was like, because of what happened at the reunion. So then we get a flashback to season 6 reunion where during a break, Giselle is sitting on the couch, texting, doing whatever. Candace and Chris are standing up having a conversation, and Chris is saying to Candace how he was upset about what was being said and how he was looking and being portrayed. Now, mind you, it was, he had been drinking. You can tell, like, he just been drinking a lot. It seemed like every time you see Chris now, he got some type of beverage in his hand. That nigga is going the fuck through it. So he was saying how he was upset. Giselle looks up and said, you mad? And he was like, we'll talk about it later or whatever. So then she continues to tell the story to Robyn where she reiterates the story about how she said that she saw that he was like waiting for her and he asked her, can they talk in her room? So she was like, yeah. She was like, I said, yeah, because I thought that my glam squad would still be in my dressing room, but they weren't. And so Robyn then looks at her like, Giselle, really, bitch? Really? This what we doing, girl? Okay. And I'm like, what? Hell has frozen over because Robyn is standing her ground and has a mind of her own for once. Baby, it must be problems in the relationship. I'm feeling like Roberto might have got her a new boo thing or something because I was just shocked. So she says that while they were in the room alone with one another, Chris was, complaining about Candace and that he was drunk. And she just felt uncomfortable because he's a married man and they were in a room alone and she knows how it feels to be cheated on. And Robyn in her confessional was like, he didn't say anything inappropriate to her. He didn't touch her. So I'm not understanding where she's going with this, why it making her feel some type of way. And Giselle was like, I just felt like he was trying to see if I was with it. Because, you complaining to me about your wife, making it seem like you not happy. I don't trust that he a sneaky link. And I'm like, well, girl, your hair is a missing piece. Because you're not even using the term sneaky link right, trying to be hip, Giselle. Girl, stop. If I was Giselle, would I have felt like he was being inappropriate? No. Well, I'm not Giselle, first of all. We all know Giselle looks for angles anyway every season to try to say somebody's husband doing something. But in this case, with that flashback, when she said, are you mad? And Chris said, we'll talk about it later. Yeah, he was waiting on you because he said to you earlier, we'll talk about it later when the cameras are down. So when the cameras were down, he saw you, he waited, and he asked, could y'all talk so he could, say whatever. He was complaining about whatever's going on between him and Candias. Nobody else was in the room. If that was the case, if you really felt some type of way, why didn't you just leave the door open? Or how about you just said, let's talk when your wife is around, or stand out here and talk in the hallway. It's so many different ways to finagle that whole entire situation. Now, as far as him complaining about his wife to you, if you didn't feel comfortable having that conversation, then as soon as he started, you should have said, you know what, this ain't none of my business. I don't need to know this. It's so many ways to have handled that situation, but we all know that this is what Giselle does. You know what I'm saying? This is her MO. This is what she does or whatever. But do I feel like there's trouble in paradise over there with Candy Ice and Chris? Absolutely 100%. Things are not good over there. I told y'all. I've been telling y'all. That nigga gonna get tired of her ass, and all that bullshit that she has put out here in the earth, she gonna get it back through his ass, because that motherfucker right there is gonna be asking for alimony. He seemed like the type to me that'll pull a Ken Do Isaac on her and ask for her to pay his child support. Watch what I tell you. I just want to know is, how far are these reality stars willing to go? Like, I just feel like at this point, motherfuckers will do anything. Because for Giselle's whole storyline each season to be attacking somebody's marriage, like, you don't feel disgusting behind that? Like, that's just too much playing. And ain't no we gonna continue on and be friends after that. Like, no, bitch. Like, I just don't understand this shit. Like, I don't know, bruh. Anywho, so after that, we see Mia and G head out for breakfast, lunch, whatever. And in her confessional, she talks about the fact that they're opening up the Joint chiropractic location. They already have 16, and they're about to open their first one in DC. Well, it's supposed to be hers. With what's going on right now, current day, where she's saying that her brother-in-law locked them out of the companies and this, that, and the third, child. I don't know what's going on with Mia. Me and my son just joined, have joined a membership with the Joint Chiropractic. So that's just funny to me that Mia would own several locations. They are quite great, though. I love going to get adjusted. It's changed my life. But anywho, so she says, with her opening up this new location and, all this potential cancer stuff, it's just a lot on her. So her friend Jacqueline arrives, and we find out that they've been BFF since they were 15 years old, okay? Which makes what's going on between them right now truly unfortunate and sad. And it's just like, y'all been friends for damn near 15, 20 years. I don't know how old Mia is, but old enough that now your best friend being on this reality show got y'all beefing to this extent where you tried to expose her for, DV against her baby daddy. Like, it's just too much, child. Well, anywho, they sit down and they talk, and Mia talks about how she had a biopsy done, but after the biopsy, they need more tests. And I'm like, huh? I'm just so confused by it. She says that she's had a biopsy and an MRI, and it's still inconclusive, where they don't know whether or not it's cancer or not. Now, let me tell y'all something. I found the lump in my breast last year. I found it on a Monday, was in the doctor's office by a Tuesday. I knew 3 weeks later whether or not I had cancer. I had an MRI. I had my biopsy. The biopsy is the last step into finding out conclusively if you have cancer or not. After my biopsy, I had the biopsy on a Tuesday. By Thursday, I had the results. So I'm not understanding how all of these doctors, all of these tests, and they don't know whether or not she got cancer. I don't understand this. Just like I just had my first mammogram after, having surgery and radiation and everything. I had my first mammogram in August since being diagnosed. That came back showing that they didn't see any signs of the cancer returning. But to be on the safe side, next month I have to have an MRI done. The MRI is to get, a further look to make sure that they haven't missed any little cells, molecules, whatever, you know what I'm saying, to ensure that the cancer is still, in remission, gone, whatever. So I'm just still not understanding what the hell is going on with Mia, and maybe it's not for me to understand. Everybody's journey is different, but this shit is just crazy to me. So, and it's triggering because as a person that's going through this, it's just like I'm hoping to pray in God that this is for real. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just not nothing to play with. It's seriously not. So, Jacqueline is mad that Giselle would even question whether or not, she's really going through this. And then she was like, but Mia, don't you feel like Karen was being a CYA? And Mia was like, what is that? And she was like, covering your ass. And I was like, I've never heard of that myself. And G was like, you ain't never heard of that? That's old school. I was like, well, shit, that must be real old school because I ain't never heard of a CYA. Have y'all? Because I haven't. So she said that it just felt like to her like Karen was trying to cover her ass, but she low-key agreed with Giselle. So Mia says that the same day of the event, she gets this text message from Karen saying, hey girl, my party is today. She's like, duh, I know, I'm on my way. And that Karen was like, I just want to give you a heads up that the girls have been discussing, your health scare. Just wanted to let you know what you were walking into. So Mia was feeling like, well, why are you just not telling me this when me and you have spoke the past week and you haven't said anything? So she agrees with Jacqueline. And I agree with Jacqueline after finding that out. Like, damn, Karen, really, Karen, because yeah, you was questioning it too, but you weren't being mean about it. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like that was fucked up that you didn't say something until the day of. You know what I'm saying? She also goes on to reveal that she has heard from Giselle as well. Ashley and Candiace meet up, and I just want to know, when did they get to be friends? When did this happen? It had to have happened at some point after the reunion. But they cool now, at least. They cool enough to be in the same room and to have one-on-one time with each other. It's actually refreshing to see them get along with one another after all of these years. So Ashley lets her know about Chris's DM. And at first, Candace was like, my husband DM'd you at 2:42 in the morning for what? And so Ashley breaks down everything that happened. And she was like, I didn't know the context of why he was, DMing me. She was like, well, he is the GM over there and he's trying to rebrand and bring, cool people over there, all my friends and stuff like that. Exactly what I just said. So she was like, oh, okay. And, Candace thanks her for letting her know and was like, if anything ever like that happened, of course I would want you to tell me. So it was good that she handled it very well. Obviously, she's not going to handle it well when Giselle actually makes the accusation that, her husband was trying to get on her. So we then see Ashley inviting all the girls to this twerk class on the day of. Karen sends her a text message saying she can't come because she has a fever. So Robyn and Giselle get there. And Robyn questions whether or not Karen is really sick or is she just trying to avoid Box Chevy because Box Chevy is coming. And Giselle says that it seems as if Karen is trying to avoid Box Chevy because she's scared that Box Chevy is going to spill her tea because she got tea and dirt on her. And they flash back to a scene where Giselle and Box Chevy on FaceTime with each other. And Box Chevy lets her know that she, in fact, did reach out to Karen so they can, meet up and finally talk. And that she has not heard anything from Karen. I don't blame Karen, bitch. I'm not giving you none of my goddamn time nor energy, bitch. You gonna be waiting. So Box Chevy arrives, child, as Ashley is confronting Giselle about, kind of coming hard against her about this whole divorce thing. And Giselle was like, it just seemed to me like you playing around with divorce. It don't seem like you're serious. Like, because who tries to buy a house with somebody that they're divorcing? And Ashley was like, but didn't you and Jamal get back together at some point? And she was like, yeah, 15 years later or however many years. And she was like, I didn't know it was a time limit on affection. So Giselle is like, are you back together? And Ashley was like, no, Michael hasn't cheated on me. He hasn't done this. And Giselle was like, he hasn't cheated on you. And Ashley said, not lately. I have heard it all. I have literally heard it all. At this point, even Giselle had to laugh, like, really, bitch? So she was like, I mean, we could get back together. You just never know or whatever. So Sharice was like, well, are you getting a house with him? Like, what's going on? And Ashley was like, well, the compromise is he helped me with the house because I can't afford it by myself. And I'm like, what you mean you can't afford it by yourself? Like, come on now. Like, Ashley makes the six figures doing this show. I'm pretty sure the money that she made from this show, she got to keep. And at this point, if you really wanted a house and you really wanted a divorce, you would have divorced him and got the money that you were promised in the prenup or whatever. But I know recently she said at BravoCon that she found out that it was a lot of wording that she didn't understand or misread or whatever. Now that it's being contested in this prenup, girl, it's a mess. So at this point, they go to the little strip class. Candiace, Wendy, and Mia arrives. And Mia says, in her confessional that she has not responded to Giselle because she don't tolerate disrespect. So basically, fuck her. So they start doing the little dance routine. And it just looked like a bunch of stiff old ninnies. I felt like I was watching the Golden Girls 2022. Robyn in the background moving like a mechanic. That bitch need a tune-up. I'm like, girl, you are a nigga. So after the class, some of the girls go back out front to eat and drink, and Giselle and Candiace are still in the dance room. Ashley says that she can't announce her separation to the public yet until the loan that she got pre-approved for the house comes through. And, it just wouldn't have looked good to the loan company if they would have known that her and Michael aren't together. But I'm like, y'all over here scamming folks? What is going on? What is happening? So meanwhile, back in the dance room, Giselle sits Candiace down and tells her that, Chris made her feel uncomfortable last year at the reunion. She tells her what happened, and Candiace was like, did he say or do something to you? She was like, no. So she was like, okay, exactly, because he would never do that. So Giselle was like, well, the next day I told Cal, and he was like, I don't like that because he knew I was gone. He said goodbye to me when I left. So Candiace then breaks the fourth wall and looks over at production and was like, so this is what we're doing? Like, this is what we're doing this season? Oh, okay, got you. So she was like, so you want to say that my husband made you feel uncomfortable? And Giselle was like, 100%. She was like, I understand that that's your husband, but you can't diminish how I felt. Candiace says, what is this? Once again to production. She looks over at production. She was like, what is this? What are we doing? So at this point, Candiace gets up and grabs her purse, and she's about to start crying, and was like, where is Eric? Eric has to be like the head producer. And so she was like, where is Eric? I need to talk to Eric. And so the girls are like overhearing that something is going on. So we then see her in the back talking to the producer Eric, and was like, if it's going to be maligning my husband this season, you don't want me here, because we got Michael Darby for that, the ass grabbing, cheating person. We have him for that. We're not going to do this with my husband. And I was like, oh, how the tides have turned. We told you your day was coming 2 years ago, darling, when y'all tried to pull that goddamn hocus pocus alamogocious bullshit on Monique, when it was really supposed to be aimed towards you that season. But you got off because Giselle decided to point her effort, her sorcery towards Monique. You didn't know that it was going to finally come back around to you, darling. Now you want to cry? Oh, okay. Wish I could feel sorry for you, but I can't. I cannot feel sorry for you. I simply cannot. And it's just like you wanted to align yourself with them hoes so bad 2 seasons ago. You wanted to hang with Giselle and Robyn and have they back and talk shit, and still to this day talking shit about Monique. Hell, I got a video coming for y'all from BravoCon where Monique still on Giselle's tongue, and that girl ain't even on this show. Don't even talk about your ass. So it's just like, you get what you give, darling. Now it's your turn. So sit in it. It's going to be fun watching this season. You and Giselle go back and forth. The reads are going to be great. But now it's your turn. And nobody feels sorry for you. At least I don't. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about tonight's episode down below in the comments section. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.